We will see Taurean York of Temple along with everybody else of Temple, and we have midway football against Temple a little bit later on this year. High school football season, of course, starts the last week in August. Baylor commit linebacker from Temple joins us. Sic'Em 365 Radio and 365 Sports. Taurean, thanks for your time. So it's a visit this weekend, the official visit. You're already committed. There's others that are coming in this week. How much are you and others like Austin and others kind of like running this particular class and not only keeping it together, but also making sure others know about Baylor?
I think we're doing a great job of leading so far. Of course, Austin's the quarterback of the offense, and I'm the quarterback of the defense. So I think we're recruiting our guys for our side of the ball, but I think it's coming along great. We're getting a lot of commits. We got a lot of commits recently, and we have a lot more coming up. So I think we're on the right track to build a strong class for sure.
Are you a natural recruiter? Do you feel like this is something that, 25 years from now you could easily just pick up the phone and get people to come to a school?
Yes, sir, for sure. I feel like when I play my last number of football, whether that's in high school, college, or in the NFL, I'm going to be a coach regardless of how my playing career goes. I just have my mindset on being a coach. I feel like I love the game, and I know too much about the game to just be sitting at a desk and not spreading my knowledge.
Taurean, you've been committed for quite a while now. What's it been like to just have that process over and be able to focus the way that you have on just your senior season and also helping out, like you said, with what Baylor's got going on? But has that been a lot less stressful being locked down, so to speak?
Yes, sir. It's a big weight lifted off my chest and my shoulders for sure. It just gives me a lot of time to focus on. Ultimately, my end goal is just to win a state championship in high school, and that's always been my goal. Like all the offers and the stars and commits and all that stuff has been a byproduct of just my hard work. And I felt like as long as I worked hard and I stayed the course and I just stayed down, then the offers and things would like that would come. And thankfully it did. And I'm coming home to Baylor.
When you committed to Baylor, did others still try to change your mind? Do others still try to just check in with you? And what's that process like?
Yeah, they have, but I think they know that I'm with Baylor for sure. But it's always great to build those relationships and just keep those guys, just continue to build strong relationships with them because you don't know. My favorite team is the 49ers in the NFL, so you don't know. Maybe the DC at North Texas might be the DC for the 49ers one day. So I don't want to just blow him off because he's at North Texas and I'm going to Baylor, So I make sure that I always respond to them and just keep a strong relationship with them.
Man, that's a big picture, way of looking at things right there. Like the NFL all the way down. I mean, that's where'd you get kind of that insight? What would you credit that to? Just people in your life that have helped you kind of see the big picture.
I just think that's just how my family operates. We never really blow anybody off. Because this time last year I was going through my 12 camp circuit in 22 days. So I just got to thank God for just blessing me in this position because. Like I said, at this time last year, I was on my 7th camp out of 12. I started on June 1st and I ended on June 22nd. So I went to 12 camps in 22 days. So I'm in a very different position than I was last summer. I'm just grateful for it and I'm thankful for it. Yeah. That's why I don't blow anybody off because I remember where I came from last year.
Yeah, don't burn bridges you may need to cross one day. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Taurean, how excited are you to work with a group of coaches that really are artists when it comes to developing linebackers?
I mean, I'm extremely excited. I'm basically having 2 defense coordinators and 2 linebacker coaches with Coach Aranda and Coach Roberts. Coach Aranda just won a national championship in 2020. So I think he's going to bring a lot from what he did that year. He's going to use it with me. He's developed me every day and every practice. I feel like I'm going to get better and then ultimately get to the NFL one day.
So your birthday's next week. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you turn 17 years old. You've got everything out in front of you. You got a little bit of summertime as well. And then, of course, right back to the ground. Well, do even high school athletes like yourself even get downtime anymore?
Not necessarily, especially this month of June is really action-packed. I got a lot of visits going on. And then I'm taking summer class at the high school, summer class at the Temple College, just so I can graduate early and get up to Baylor in January. So that's my main goal. And it's always been my goal since 8th grade. Whenever I had no offers or no, idea about the recruiting game, I always knew that I wanted to commit early and then go to college early. Because there's no point in me wasting 6 months at high school, just sitting around or running track, things like that, when I could already be at the campus getting better and going through spring ball and such things.
What is the tweet I saw from you about, well, in fact, it was yesterday, 5:46. That AM, that's not PM because it's still light now.
That's AM, yes, sir.
So what did you do? What were you doing? Were you running? Were you just working out? What were you doing?
I do a lot of everything. I get there early. I do a lot of stretching. I run condition. We do my footwork drills, flipping my hips, things like that. It just felt like with this being my last go-around, like I'm devoted to winning. That's always been my main goal. It's my innate personality to just be a winner. And I'm very competitive. So for us to be knocked out the playoffs 2 years in a row, like I never held a gold ball on the way home from a game. All of my playoff wins have been at home in the first round. So I'm trying to get over the hump, and I just know that I need to be at my best to do so. So I'm just really focused on winning right now. I'm not focused on individual stats and things like that, because I feel like I play the game the right way, and I play the game playing my all, going hard 100% every play. So I feel like I can go even harder and go 120% and impact the game in all three phases of the game.
Taurean, how passionate are the fans of Temple High School football?
I mean, they're very passionate, in good and bad ways. When we're winning, they love it, but when they're bad, they're going to get on to us. You're going to hear about it from, your family members and social media, things like that. But you always just have to keep a level mind. You can never get too high on yourself. You never get too down on yourself. So it's all about finding that median whenever you're playing football for Temple, because we're like one of the top winningest programs in history and Texas football history. So that comes with good and bad for sure.
What do you think of the new district?
I think it's great. Whites coming in our district, they're loaded with D1 talent, and Midway is always going to be Midway. Regardless of the past season they had, they were playing in the toughest district in Texas, so they kind of came back down to our district. So I think Midway isn't as bad as people think they are. They played Duncanville and Cedar Hill and DeSoto and Waxhatchee, things like that. So they're in a really talented district. So for them to come back down and use that experience, I think that Midway is the pusher that everybody thinks they are.
That's impressive, because a lot of high school players, athletes, whatever, they're just focused on your own district. You know who you're going to play that district in the next round. You don't know who it's going to be, and they have some elite, absolutely elite teams. But you even knew what they were up against for a couple of years and why they haven't been as good.
Indeed, yes, because you also have to think about it this way. If we say we got second in our district the past couple of years, we're probably playing DeSoto or Cedar Hill, things like that. We don't get to play like Hatchie since we got first place. So if we were in second place, we might have been playing those bigger schools. We might have been in 6A D1 instead of 6A D2. So it's just all about knowing who you're going to play and who you can possibly play.
That's a great perspective from your part on sometimes the guys don't even know who they're playing after the game in front of them, because there's such a focus on that.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Temple Midway usually plays some classic games, that's great rivalry and good to have that one back for sure.
Taurean, one more thing. It's the class of 2023, and you're in it, and Austin Novosad, he's also he's coming in this weekend, the quarterback. How much do you guys, or is there a group text among others who have committed, and you kind of have your own little group there? What's that like?
Yes, sir. We have every commit that's committed to Baylor so far. We're all in a little group chat on Twitter, so we're always in contact talking about if we're going to the camp, we're going to when we're taking our OV, things like that. So we definitely have a Baylor group chat full of commits for sure.
All right. So do you have at least between after the visits this month, and you got 7-on-7? I'm not sure what you guys are doing there, if at all. What is an opening for you? What will you do if you get a couple of days other than working out? What will you do? Do you get a chance to go breathe and do something else?
Not really. I think I'm just focused on winning right now. I made like that the time that I get off, after my last high school game, I'll try to take a week to myself, and then I'll get right back to prepare for college. I really don't like taking breaks. Like we went to Colorado for a family vacation, but I found myself at the gym as soon as I landed, because I just felt like I felt like people were getting ahead of me, and I can't stand that feeling of people. If I can imagine somebody working harder than me, then I really feel like I have to go out there and do more. Even if I already worked out, I feel like I have to go again, because I can't stand the feeling of having somebody working harder than me.
Where did you guys go in Colorado?
We went to Denver.
Denver. That's did you run out there with the altitude and some of those? Obviously, I'm not expecting you to be running mountains, but knowing you, heck, you might have. I don't know.
Yeah, me and my brother were jogging up the mountains, because my brother ran track and cross country at UIW in San Antonio, so he's a big runner. He ran every day, but we were up the mountains. We just tried to run it up a little bit, but it was some good stuff. That altitude was no joke, so we definitely felt a change in the air for sure.
Taurean, great to talk to you again, man. Have fun this weekend. We'll be in touch. Look forward to seeing you later in the year with Temple playing against Midway, and just Temple throughout the year. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Taurean York. What a very got a great perspective. I bet there's a lot of high school players that aren't as in tuned.
Got better perspective than a lot of adults. Yeah. I mean, geez, like thinking as far out as like, hey, might be in the NFL one day, and the college coach who I say kiss off because I'm committed somewhere else, he might be my defensive coordinator one day. Like, not everybody thinks that far out. That's very impressive. And, it's easy to see, I think, in listening to him, what was attractive to Baylor outside of just his football skills. I mean, great kid to talk to, great perspective. Seems to have a really good head on his shoulders and a lot of motivation and a lot of confidence. So I think that's, and obviously a really great work ethic. So I'm sure, Garrett, you've talked to him plenty of times before, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, I have. He's definitely, to me, when you look at Taurean, I think he's the next Terrell Bernard.
Okay.
He's very humble. He's kind of overshadowed because of his size. I think that by the time the year is finished, you'll see him transform to a 4-star from a 3-star. But I think that's kind of been one of those things where he gets kind of miscued when you look at it. But if you turn on the film, he's just a natural football player. And you put him in the system for Baylor and you get him developed, he's going to be a dog, man.
Yep. He seems to have a good, like I said, a good